many top 10 fails videos I produce, it's safe to say that there is no such thing as the perfect gaming company. It's more like some companies actually have their shit together and some don't. And I mean really don't. But then you come across a particular company that just has the Midas touch of failure, where everything they touch suddenly just explodes. Which brings us to today's episode of This Is Your Life Video Game Edition, Microsoft. While nowhere near as evil as others, they just carry a sense of unreliability and apathy when it comes to the industry, to the point where it almost feels like slapstick.
Believe it or not, there was a time where instead of saying, hey, you want to come over and play video games? It was, hey, you want to come over and play Xbox?
So why haven't they ever won any of these generations? You'll stop wondering once you see what we've dug up today. Once we entered the era where two screens are better than one, Microsoft had its own solution, the Xbox SmartGlass.
Hey kids, you ever heard of the Microsoft SmartGlass? Neither did I.
Basically, this forgotten little something was an app which allowed your smartphone or tablet to connect to the Xbox consoles and basically turned them into remote controls and second screens for games and streaming movies, even offering a few nifty features such as trivia during films and listening to music and pretty much anything you could do with an Apple or Roku TV. While that all sounds pretty neat on paper, in the final product it's kinda useless. A lot of the games and movies didn't fully establish the fancy bells and whistles, which kind of limited our selection for a bit. Not to mention that a lot of the other features were kind of boring. It also didn't help that they were really pushing for this thing at E3 2012, and the creators of South Park got a chance to talk about the SmartGlass to promote Stick of Truth. And they were not kind.
How many times have you been watching an episode of South Park and thought, I'd like to be able to watch this on my television while hooked into my mobile device, which is being controlled by my tablet device, which is hooked into my oven, all while sitting in the refrigerator. Well, we're not doing that, we're just doing this game.
You got Trey Parker and Matt Stone to advertise the thing. You should have seen this coming.
Yeah, that obviously didn't work out too well, because after a while, the hype over SmartGlass, if there was any, just kind of fizzled out and it just faded out of existence. It's so low on this list because it could have been something really neat, but it just ended up being something no one really needed. Xbox SmartGlass, what happened? Killed it. Microsoft Surface, what happened? You killed it. Microsoft HoloLens, what happened? Oh, no, this is gonna be amazing, actually. The controller, the key to hours upon hours or even days of wondrous gaming. Provided, of course, that key you're given is practical and comfortable enough to handle.
Or you could end up with this behemothine mess.
Yeah, the original Xbox controller really left a lot to be desired. For starters, it is ridiculous to look at. It's enormous and bulky, practically the size of a melon and shaped like something out of Galaga. It's also got a huge Xbox logo just sitting right there in the middle of the dang thing like a freaking bat signal. What really dooms this Paul Bunyan controller is how difficult it is to use. The buttons are made slantwise for absolutely no reason. The analog sticks are super uncomfortable to work with, and the secondary buttons? Yeah, good luck reaching those. Needless to say, it's bad. Like, really bad. However, it clearly wasn't bad enough to completely ruin the experience for people. Yeah, it's fun to meme the heck out of how ridiculous this beast is, but we also can't forget that this was basically the caveman that would slowly evolve into the less bulky, more functional being we know today. In fact, oddly enough, I remember some kids who considered this enormous controller almost a status symbol.
Why not? I mean, people fall in love with worse controllers.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
That thing doesn't work, it never worked, and Lucas is a freaking liar!
So when you think of the big three and their mascots, who do you think of? With Nintendo, you have Mario and Link. With Sony, you have Kratos and Solid Snake. And with Microsoft,
Nothing comes to mind.
Halo has been Microsoft's flagship series for years. Ever since its first release on the original Xbox back in 2001, it has obtained millions of fans around the world. Well, except Asia. Halo 1 didn't release there at first, but still became really popular. Now, why am I talking about one of Microsoft's biggest accomplishments on a Microsoft fails list? Well, while Halo has done well on Xbox, Microsoft also released the first two games on PC, and they didn't release a single game on there since. Okay, that isn't fair. Side games like Halo, Spartan Assault, and Halo Wars came to PC eventually, but most of the main series didn't, which alienated a lot of fans who started playing the series on PC. Now, this is much lower, as most of these games will be released on PC within the next year, starting with Halo Reach. But the fact that it took almost 12 years for this to occur again is pretty bad. At least gamers will be able to find those long-lost friends who were last online 12 years ago. After the many issues with the Xbox One were finally addressed, it seemed that the console was in a good state for once. We got the Xbox One S, an enhanced version, and then not even a year later, the Xbox One X was announced.
Microsoft, I believe Capcom has copyrighted re-releasing something without any changes.
People weren't especially thrilled at the idea of paying a premium $500 price for what amounted to a 4K upgrade patch. Everyone has HD TVs, but not everyone has a 4K TV, and
I'm getting a sense of deja vu. Anyone else getting a sense of deja vu?
considering the only reason the 360 survived against Sony was because of what Sony did, you'd think they'd try not to emulate them, to say nothing of the name, the Xbox One X. Just when you thought people were done mocking the original title. Though I'm more disappointed nobody tried making an Organization 13 joke. Get it? Nobody? Organization 13? X? Disappointed? Upon release, the double Xbox One was plagued by technical issues. Most notably, randomly turning off because the power cable that was shipped with it was faulty. It's one thing to release a broken game and fix it later, but it's another level of BS to do the same with a console. Again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
As long as we don't get an Xbox One X2 Turbo Hyper Edition Accent Core Plus and Knuckles, I'll be good.
E3 has been one of the largest showcases for the big video game companies to show off to their shareholders and their customers just what amazingly big things they have planned. Some of the greatest moments in gaming have come from the showcasing of upcoming titles or new hardware for consumers to enjoy. There's also the running argument of who won that year's expo. Aside from EA, Microsoft is usually dead last. It's usually a running joke with the gaming community that if you want to know how not to do a presentation on your upcoming products, just look to Microsoft. For example, when announcing the new game Forza Motorsport 7, Microsoft had a special surprise for their gaming audience. And it was a brand new car! Ignoring the fact that they decided to debut a new model car at a video game expo no less, that wouldn't be the first or last time Microsoft made similar tone-deaf decisions with their presentations. Such as when they brought out world-renowned football star Pele to talk about their upcoming FIFA 2015 game, but they must not have informed him of that because he instead talked about actual football. You know, the real-life version. Or how about the Kinect failures? Like when a demonstrator tries to show off the range of motion of the Kinect, only for it to bug the heck out. Much to the amusement of the audience.
You ever wonder what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam! There it is.
Or how they got a young girl to do the presentation on Kinectimals, which I know she's trying her hardest to do what she was trained to do, but there's a reason you have adults present these things, folks. And even then, they aren't that great. Of course, these are just some of the highlights of Microsoft's E3 blunders. I could probably make a top 10 list on this topic alone. And now that I think about it, wasn't there a disastrous console release that happened a few years ago at E3? Probably just my imagination.
Holy shit! We'll always love you! I can't believe you did this to me! God damn it! How could you do this to me?
Killing Rare.
When it comes to killing game studios, Electronic Arts tops the leaderboards, but we've already talked about them. Instead, let's focus on the roller coaster of ups and downs that befell Rare when it was purchased by Microsoft in September 2002. First off, Rare began this new partnership by releasing a few new titles, or re-releases of previous titles. When they tried a sequel to their much beloved Banjo-Kazooie series, it fell quite short of expectations. Then Rare decided to shift focus to new hardware and new avenues with their next big title, Kinect Sports. And 3 years later, they would have another.
What isn't?
Oh my god, JC, a bomb!
A bomb.
Kinect Sports Rivals was a massive failure commercially. This caused many of the team members to go off and create their own studio and create a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, which was passable, I guess? Having lost most of the original team by 2014, Rare needed something to get them back into the good graces of their audience and in the black on the ledgers. They revealed at E3 2015 the Rare Replay Collection, a compilation of all Rare's titles for their 30th anniversary, and it worked! Rare struck while the iron was hot and then revealed the same year their upcoming big title, Sea of Thieves. This was gonna be it, a return to form for Rare. Good gameplay, unique design, and being all about the fun! What we got was another No Man's Sky, with pirates. While Rare is still around and Sea of Thieves has received many updates to its core gameplay, the fact is that Rare just isn't the Rare of the past anymore. The original main goal of the company, according to Mark Betteridge, a former Rare exec, was to create games that were enjoyable first, profitable second. And while that could still be true, the fact of the matter is that if you don't have any profit, you can't continue to do business. And to a publisher like Microsoft, that's a death sentence.
Time will tell if they can make a comeback, and if they do, it'll be a rare sight indeed. Okay, who's been sneaking puns into my scripts again?
After the Wii came in and revolutionized gaming with its motion controls, it was only natural that other companies would try to capitalize on its success. Even though, again, they blew their chance beforehand, and they were totally planning to do motion controls the whole time, guys. Of course, if you've been paying attention to this list so far, the Kinect wasn't exactly a hit. Introduced at an especially awkward E3, I think that Miyamoto's reaction summed up what most people thought.
That is the only time I've seen Miyamoto not smile. What have you done, Microsoft?
Right off the bat, the Kinect found itself with a bit of an identity crisis regarding its target audience. The hardcore gamers that made up the player base of the 360 dismissed it as a gimmick, while the casuals and non-gamers didn't want to fork over the dough for a new console, peripheral, and games. Especially because they already had Wiis. And then we had the games themselves. While there were some decent ones like Just Dance, most of them were just generic shovelware. Ironically, the same thing that the Wii itself suffered from. There is also the issue of unresponsive controls, which is a death sentence when your body is the controller.
In the end, I guess you could say that Microsoft couldn't quite connect with what consumers wanted. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming.
Hey there, you fine young gaming audience! Do you like video games? That's absolutely fantastic! Do you like online distribution of your favorite video games? Yes! Absolutely fantastic! Do you like a service that is customer first, doesn't corrupt your save data, or have a user interface that's designed by Satan himself? Well, tough shit! There, sassafras! You'll take what we give you! The advent of Steam turned a lot of heads in the gaming community. Customers like it because they could get new or old games for good prices, and publishers liked them because it allowed them to get better information on what their customers liked. Unfortunately, with every success that pioneers something new, it's a guaranteed fact that imitators will sprout up looking to cash in with little insight into what made the original successful. Microsoft themselves tried this with their Games for Windows Live, which at first was more of a glorified DRM disguised as a service. Originally, it was meant to be a way for gamers to sync up their computer gaming activities with their Xbox gaming activities. Unfortunately, the execution of this was dead on arrival, and Zombie shuffled itself embarrassingly over the next few years. As I said earlier, the user interface was a mess and was actually a cause of a lot of game crashes. Also, saved games were corrupted or lost because Games for Windows Live encrypted them so that people wouldn't cheat at getting achievements? Microsoft also lauded this service would have tray and play for every game, meaning you could pop it in and instantly play while it installed, much like the Xbox. This feature never came about though, it was just another broken promise. The death sentence for this service had to be when they added their storefront Games on Demand, which lasted less than 2 years. This was because of many reasons: downloads not working or installing, an always online requirement, and probably its worst offense, having you purchase everything with Microsoft points, their own little brand of cryptocurrency for purchases. Not only did this obscure the actual price of what you were buying, but you had to purchase the points in packs, meaning you had to overspend to get what you wanted. While the servers for this service are still up and running, it's been largely replaced by the Windows 10 store, and many game developers have patches that allow you to remove functionality from their older games. You know you screwed up your digital distribution service when even developers are looking for ways to patch it out.
That's a warning for you too, buddy.
A long time ago, in the mysterious year of 2013, the Wizarding College of Microsoft decided to announce their new console at the gathering of wizards known as E3. They were filled with laughter and excitement. But when the announcement came, the crowds that drew went silent. Looks of unease and hatred pierced the hearts of Microsoft as their excitement died and despair arose.
And it all went downhill from there.
The Xbox One. Man, what an initial piece of it was. First off, we're supposed to call the first one the original Xbox. And two,
You know what? There's a lot to talk about here. Let's just skim through it.
overgouging prices. Check. Focus on being an entertainment system over a gaming device. Check. Limiting the usage and flexibility of its consumer base by preventing the playing of used games and always being online. Check. Lack of exclusives and had to backtrack a lot of the original features when the competitor made its mission to do none of it in the first place, causing it to sell more when the console war overall this generation. Check-a-doodle-doo! While they eventually went back and fixed these issues, sold the system without the Kinect, and added in backwards compatibility, which helped in its sales and popularity, it doesn't help the fact that the launch was terrible. The way everything caught fire with every word that leapt from their mouths is like watching a clown stage conflagrate. At least you still have those E3 2013 memes.
Seriously, Sony killed it that year. Bye-bye, Xbone.
And as a quick honorable mention, the Play Anywhere app. It tried. It really tried. It was a cool idea and concept, it's just that it had very limited titles and Steam games didn't really count. Which is kind of bad since Steam's the most commonly used way to purchase and play PC games. Way to work against yourself there, Microsoft, but do I expect anything less?
Bricks here! Get your bricks here! Only $300 for a single brick! Oh, one brick for you, sir? Okay, take a brick! Okay, we got a brick. Hey, what about brick for you, sir? You for one in the missus or one in the child? Okay, here for you, brick for you, sir! Hey, brick for you, come and watch the big game! Maybe you can play the big game, but sorry you can't play the big game. Okay, take a brick!
In all seriousness, the original Xbox 360 might as well have been a brick that cost $300. The original model didn't come with hard drives, Wi-Fi, or online access. Even though Wii came with Wi-Fi, it was also notorious for eating discs and shredding them up, making the games unplayable. But the real kicker was the infamous Red Ring of Death. Approximately 23.7% of all Xbox 360s came with a nasty little hardware issue that caused the 360 to overheat, thus causing the 360 to give a red ring of death. In this state, the Xbox 360 was nothing more than a glorified paperweight. It sent Microsoft back $1.15 billion to fix this glaring issue, but the damage was already done. The once iconic Xbox name was sullied by the failures of the 360. The only reason people today think of the 360 and don't associate it with the death of Microsoft's console career is because the PS3 was almost bad, if not worse. When even a lackluster success only comes because of your enemy's failures, you know something went very wrong.
I'm the Fiery Joker. This is fine.
God